Hello, my name is Edgar Mauricio Montalvo Gomez de la Torre, and this is my ID card as a requisite for this presentation. And I'm blocking my number as requested before. I think that's enough. Okay, thank you. And one more time. Today, the presentation is about phonetics, phonology, and pronunciation. And I'm going to take you on a small tour of understanding what it is, what they are, how they differentiate between each other, and some quick examples. So let's begin. Let's kick off with the pronunciation. What is pronunciation? Basically, is how sounds are made, how sounds are produced, and how they are received by the listener. Now, think of it as the musicality of the language, perhaps. It because it focuses on how the words are stressed in different sentences, how we use the rhythm, and how sometimes our voices fall and rise in different places of the word and the sentence. Like it's called intonation. And of course, we are not focusing 100% on sounding like a native speaker. However, achieving intelligibility, it is extremely fundamental. We must, as teachers, promote, encourage our students to focus on intelligibility, trying to let them understand the importance of it, and not only allowing them to have the time and opportunities to practice that by creating a perfect methodology, and a curriculum that will enrich this experience, but not also that, but also at home encouraging them to listen to music in English, to listen to TV, to watch TV in English, to watch platforms like streaming platforms like Netflix or so on, or Amazon, whatever. But not only, sometimes the resources are not there, so we can use the internet. Like we have applications now. We have social media, and it's all about videos. And instead of watching only one language, our native language, perhaps, we want to be able to encourage them to also learn on other languages, so they have an opportunity to be able to get input, because the input needs to be 300% for us to be able to produce 100%. So 3 to 1 is the ratio of learning. We need to input 3 times for us to produce 1. So in that ratio, we need to encourage them to do that all the time. Now, pronunciation is of course extremely important, and there's samples like tree and three. They they have a different sound, and this is very important, and they understand that they're not the same word. It might sound like very similar, like very and berry. They're not the same words either, but in English, they have a different meaning. And in some countries, of course, depending on their native languages, will have different issues. For example, as I said, in Spanish language, th is not there. So I feel that I always struggle with my students to let them understand how the mouth is moving when it's pronounced the the. So the from tree, three, 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 instead of tree, tree, tree. Sometimes it was very difficult, but with patience and good attitude, I think the students were able to find it funny and entertaining, and they wanted to practice. And when they achieved it, they were very happy. And that feeling, it's all that I think teachers are striving for. Next is phonetics. Now, this is more technical, of course. This is a science that studies basically how the sounds are made, right? But this is how a speech is also produced by the mouth, right? They study how the lips are got together, they separate how the tongue goes up in the roof, down, in, and how the vocal cords will move and produce the sounds. It's very technical, of course, but it's also very important to be able to teach. And understanding phonetics really helps us teachers to teach students to form the correct sounds in English, and not to sound like they are small robots almost. Like we want to make sure that they achieve that fluency, that that sense of liberation, almost of freedom of communication when they are using the language. And of course, the aim here is to help people learn how to make those sounds. Now, lastly, is phonology. Now, phonology is not a science, but it is a system that studies the 26 letters of the alphabet, which produce the 44 phonemes, which phoneme is basically two letters together, like PR, pra, or th, tha, or tr, tra, for example. Those are also sounds that are studied by phonology, or by phonology encompasses all of this information, because the letters produce phonemes, the phonemes produce syllables, the syllables produce words, the words produce sentences, and these produces paragraphs and so on. And that's how speech is learned. That's how languages are learned, basically, in the more technical part. So phonology focuses on the system, and as I said before, phonetics is the science of it, and pronunciation is the actual practice of it. Now, I think, to this point, um, for a teacher to be able to be an effective teacher, it needs to be fluent in the International Phonetic Alphabet, the IPA, in order for us to be able to encourage students to read anything and be able to understand when and where they need to use the sound. Because sometimes, depending on the sentence placement, or the word placement, or the syllable placement in a word, it has a different sound. Now, helping students understand that is our job, but it's not basically our main goal. Our main goal is to have the students feel confident about it, feel confident about the language, and be able to produce it without any restrictions, and to want to learn more. Now, this is summary. As I said, pronunciation is basically how the sounds are produced. Phonetics is the study of it, and phonology is the system that helps us understand it, how it works. That's all for today, and thanks for listening. These are my references, and thank you very much again. Have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.